super high.
What's going on YouTube? What's going on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all platforms, and welcome to the first edition of Big Pat Sports Talk Mocks the Mock. And what this is, man, I go over top people's mock drafts, people that have done mock drafts over the past couple of months on about what's going to happen in this year's NFL draft, year 2022 in Las Vegas. And the first one we're gonna do Mr. Todd McShay's mock draft, his 2.0 special mock draft featuring Mr. Mel Kiper and Adam Schefter. We're gonna get into it and we're gonna mock the mock. I'm gonna talk about their picks. I'm gonna talk about if it's a good pick, if it's a bad pick, what I would do in there. So basically it'd be like Big Pat Sports Talk versus Mr. Mel Kiper, the legend himself. Todd McShay, glad you're back on track, bro. Getting back into these mock drafts. Adam Schefter, it's one of my dreams to be able to actually go back and forth with those guys with some banner about NFL mock drafts. Check out my full 7-round mock drafts of the New York Giants, and I have one first-round mock draft out right now. I'm going to be doing another one soon, but enough for the talk. Let's get into it.
And that means we are now all of us, all 32 teams, full steam ahead onto the 2022 NFL Draft. And welcome into our Sports Center special, Todd's Mock 2.0, where we will run through all 32 picks, 1 to 32. I am Field Yates, and I'm joined by none other than the author of this mock draft, Todd McShay, plus his partner in draft debates, Mel Kiper Jr. And we'll have Adam Schefter with us in just a few minutes. You're going to see the Mock 2.0, and as always, we are going to start at the very top with the number 1 pick. Todd, who will the Jaguars take with the second consecutive number 1 pick?
As you can see there's his board. He got a lot of picks up there. If you can see where they're going, but let's hear them say it.
I'm going with Evan Neal, the Alabama offensive tackle. This is a massive offensive lineman. You can plug in at left tackle. He can play right tackle. He's played guard before. But Evan Neal, to me, he only allowed 1 sack the entire season. It was in the national championship game. And so you're talking about 360-plus pounds. In the run game, he's absolutely dominant. He can get out on the second level. He can work in the zone. He does a little bit of everything. The guy in Neal, I think, will make Doug Peterson, the new head coach, happy in terms of what they're trying to do offensively. Run the football, protect their quarterback. And remember, when he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, they had the best offensive line in the National Football League.
Mel?
All right, I actually agree with him with that pick there. It's the safest pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they just need something sturdy. They just need somebody to come in and be that franchise guy. And who better than Evan Neal to come in and block for Trevor Lawrence's blind side? If they put him at left tackle or right tackle, they had a failure with Cam Robinson. I don't believe he will be back with them. So I actually agree with Todd McShay on this pick right here. Evan Neal going number 1 overall. I will say this, they can throw a wrench in a whole lot of people's plans if they take Aiden Hutchinson number 1, which I could see them doing as well, putting Aiden Hutchinson out there with their edge rushers that they have now. Hey, that could be a killer tandem out there with Aiden Hutchinson out there with them. So, I mean, they got good pass rushers right now, but I think the way to go is to actually protect Prince Charming Trevor Lawrence out there in Jacksonville. So, yes, I do agree with offensive tackle Evan Neal going number 1 overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, I can't complain there.
Throughout the college season, a lot of talk about pass rushers at the top of the draft. What do you make of Evan Neal going number 1?
Well, we've seen tackles go number 1 before. I think obviously it's a neat area. You have a franchise quarterback that you want to protect, obviously, but I think you want to get the best player. Is he the best player in this draft? I think Aiden Hutchinson is. Is he the best offensive?
Yeah, see, I think Aiden Hutchinson is the best player in this draft. I can actually agree with the hair, Mel Kiper. I think Aiden Hutchinson is the best player in this draft, and I just think the Jaguars need to get a player that they can build around. No matter if it's offense, defense, no matter if it's an edge rusher, tackle, center, linebacker, DB, receiver. They just need somebody that they can build around, man, and get the best out of this team, man. They need a leader on that team. They don't have a leader on this team, I don't believe, but let's see if Doug Peterson can get the best out of Trevor Lawrence, man.
It's a tackle. I guess the debate, too, is that Ike Mekwonu from NC State, who is right there or slightly ahead of Evan Neal. Both outstanding players. I think it would make sense if he went number one. I'm talking about Evan Neal, but trading down would be preferable. Problem is, there isn't that elite quarterback. That's why the Jaguars are stuck at one. Maybe they do take the offensive tackle, Evan Neal, but I think Ike Mekwonu from NC State is right there in terms of a grade.
And he's absolutely right. I actually have Ekwonu rated higher than Evan Neal, and I actually have Charles Cross rated a little higher than Evan Neal for obvious reasons. You could check the pick is in me and Classified 3F with Joel and Nate Talks Football. Actually broke down the tackles in this draft, and he was the consensus number 3. I have Charles Cross and Ikem Ekwonu ahead of Evan Neal for various reasons. I won't go into that in this video. But I have other videos where I share my sentiments on that.
Great, though.
And if it is a pass rusher, many believe it could be Aiden Hutchinson of Michigan or Kayvon Thibodeau of Oregon. So, Todd, let's get to picks 2 through 5. How soon do we see one of those pass rushers come off the board? Let's begin in Detroit at pick 2.
Yeah, right away, Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan is the number 2 pick and going to Detroit. And I think it's a perfect fit. I mean, he is a blue-collar guy, and this is a blue-collar organization. He had 14 sacks a year ago, set the school record, 66 pressures. And the guy's always around the quarterback. But the other thing, too, he's really strong versus the run. He does a great job of tying his hands together with his feet, and he prepares and plays like no other defensive player in this class in terms of what he puts on the...
All right, so he had Aiden Hutchinson go number 2 to the Detroit Lions, and I have to say he's knocking out the park so far. I cannot agree more. A lot of people actually have Aiden Hutchinson falling. I do not understand because they want to base it off one game against Georgia. That is absolutely insane to me. A lot of people say, oh, he doesn't have bend off the edge. He doesn't get pressure like a Kayvon Thibodeau. The man had 66 pressures. You just heard it, with 14 sacks. That's elite. Elite. So I wouldn't be surprised if this guy goes number 1 or number 2. I'm quite sure he's going to be gone before the 3rd pick. So Aiden Hutchinson number 2, I could definitely agree with that. He goes over to Detroit. I think he changes that defense. I think he brings a swagger to that defense Detroit hasn't had in years. So great pickup. Great mock.
The field from tape to tape. Then number 3, I've got Kyle Hamilton, safety from Notre Dame. You might say, well, it's a little bit high. He had an injury. Yeah, I get it, but this guy's a freak. You don't see many guys at safety with this length and the range and the ball skills that he has. 8 interceptions since 2019, and you look at the Texans, they could go in different directions. Could be offensive line, could be pass rusher. They're losing Justin Reed, and I think Nick's...
All right, he got the Texans taking Kyle Hamilton at number 3. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If they do that, I don't think it's a reach. I think that kid's the best player in this draft, to be honest with you, and he's an absolute freak, like he says. The Houston Texans, they have issues at quarterback, offensive line, DB. I actually would think they would take Ikem Ekwonu at number 3 instead of Hamilton. That would just be my thought on the actual mock draft, the way they would actually go. I don't think these quarterbacks are good enough to beat out Davis over there with the Texans. So I think they go offensive line at number 3. And as you can see, the number 4 pick he has, Mr. Ikem Ekwonu, I think is the best tackle in this draft.
Caserio is going to look for a foundation piece, and Hamilton should be that. Then we've got Ikem Ekwonu, offensive tackle from North Carolina State. Listen, this guy, give me the pancake reel. I want to sit down with some popcorn on my couch and enjoy every minute of this thing. He's the most physically dominant offensive lineman in the class. He goes to the Jets at number 4. They need some help along the offensive line.
I like that pick for the Jets right there. If Akeem Ekwonu falls to them at number 4, I totally love that pick for them because Mekhi Becton is having weight issues. He's having, I don't know what other issues he's having, his focus issues. He has injury issues. And I think Akeem Ekwonu protects the quarterback that they have out there right now. And that would be a great pick for them. Giants fans, number 5. Guess who they got coming to us at number 5?
I think he'd be perfect for Zach Wilson and to get the running game going with Michael Carter. Then at number 5, Kayvon Thibodeau. Everyone's wondering, why is Thibodeau falling? Well, the tape's a little bit up and down, but you can't deny this guy's physical tools. He's long, he's powerful, and he explodes through quarterbacks. He was second in all the FBS in terms of pressures last year. So it's not just the sack production, but he's consistently getting to the quarterback in a...
Yeah. Kayvon Thibodeau to us at number 5. Hey, look, I have him as my 3rd ranked edge rusher. You can check my edge rusher class, top edge rushers in the 2022 NFL draft. Dropped that about a day ago. I have him at number 3, and for some of the same reasons Todd McShay just said, he had him falling to number 5. The tape is up and down. And what we mean by the tape is up and down, you can see some lapses in run defense, man. His run defense leaves a lot to be desired. Definitely gets the RPO. As a Giants fan, you know we have a lot of RPO quarterbacks in our division. So he's going to have to learn how to play that RPO pretty well. But when it comes to pass rush, no doubt, Kayvon Thibodeau is your man when it comes to strictly pass rush. I think he's the most dominant pass rusher in this draft when it comes to getting to the quarterback, and I don't think it's close. So I do have him as my 3rd ranked edge rusher behind Aiden Hutchinson and George Karlaftis, but I wouldn't be mad if we got him at number 5. So don't take that and be like, oh, man, he's poop-on Kayvon Thibodeau. He's an absolute freak. We missed out on Parsons. Hey, look, we get Kayvon Thibodeau. That's all you're going to get from me, a hand clap, because him and Wink Martindale's system, I think, could be dangerous, to be honest with you. 17.8 pressure percentage on the quarterback last year, 4th in the FBS. He does have a little bit of injury history to him, but I think we could work that out in New York, so I'm not mad at that. Kayvon Thibodeau at number 5 for my G-men. Let's roll with it.
Affecting the quarterback. That's why I think even though he's dropping a little bit, he's still in the top 5.
So, Mel, these mock drafts are always subject to change, but you did have Kayvon Thibodeau number 2 in your last mock draft. So what's your reaction to him not coming off the board until pick number 5?
Well, that's what you're hearing, Phil. I think Todd's updating it as we go along, as I will. And I think that's what the word is, that people in the league, that he could drop a bit. But you look at Thibodeau, COVID year, then the injury early on this season, but he got back on the field. Give him credit for that. The finish, not just get the pressure, finish. Get that.
Yeah, he did get back on the field after having an injury, I believe, in the first game against, I want to say Stanford. He actually came on a play where he got a sack and a forced fumble, I believe. But he came back and he played, so he's tough. You got to give him that.
Secondary move, which he's working on, will make him more of a tackler, a pass rusher who gets the sack numbers, those double-digit sack numbers that you need to have if you're going to go in that.
Dude's an absolute monster getting to that quarterback, man. Just look.
Elite portion of the draft. So work on a couple of things. He can be great. And I think maybe this, if he drops a bit in the draft, maybe Thibodeau was number 1 coming out of high school. Maybe this gives him that chip, that extra edge that he needs to maximize all that talent.
Yeah,
Great point, Mel. The kid has been rated number 1 since high school. And so if he actually falls, as people are doubting his talent, like me, I'm not doubting his talent. I'm just doubting his run defense. But, hey, he can put it to a lot of people out there that are doubting his talent and making him fall. And I'll be one of the first ones to eat a little bit of crow. So, Kayvon, if you come to us at number 5, come with that chip and destroy some people, bro.
I imagine he'll have a pretty strong showing at the Combine in just a couple of weeks here. He is going to be the kind of guy who's going to check every box physically, but we shall see where he ends up. And we go from pick number 5, 6 through 10, Todd, and the Carolina Panthers back inside the top 10 after picking 8th last year. Where do they go with their first pick?
This is the toughest choice I had to make in the first round because the Carolina Panthers could go quarterback. Could they trade back a little bit? Could they go offensive line?
Wow,
I went with the best player available, and that's Sauce Gardner.
Got him going with Sauce Gardner.
Okay. You can see his length right here, just watching the highlight. 6'3", long arms, great body control, sticky in coverage. There wasn't a game where he gave up more than 13 yards receiving to a wide receiver all year long. He's an exceptional press man corner, never allowed a touchdown this past year in coverage. And so you plug him in right now and you probably have the best with Jason.
Wow, okay. As you can see, that next Giants pick coming up, I had this guy going to us at number 7 and 1 pick. But just go on that Carolina's pick, Sauce Gardner. It's probably one of the first picks I'm going to disagree on, man. I think Carolina's under pressure to go quarterback here. At the failed experiment with Sam Darnold and Cam Newton coming back being a failed experiment, the quarterback behind him not playing very well either. I think they go quarterback here, man. I think it's time for the Panthers to go ahead and try to do a rebuild here. You trade CMC, get you some draft capital, and you try to go for a rebuild. I think Kenny Pickett would do well out there in Carolina. I think he's the only quarterback that can actually come in the first year and do all right. All these other quarterbacks, man, I believe they have to sit a year or two. But I think Kenny Pickett's the most seasoned. He's the most ready. And I think that will, I think that pick can actually change that franchise a little bit, just to be honest with you. So that's the first pick I actually disagree on. But with the number 7 pick, he has us taking Charles Cross. I totally agree with this pick, but let's see what he got to say.
Casey Horn, one of the best young cornerback tandems in the National Football League. Then the Giants back on the board at number 7. I gave him Charles Cross at offensive tackle. Listen, I think he's a little bit lower in terms of grade, but he's a left tackle. Maybe he can switch to right tackle. We'll see if he winds up with the Giants. But he's great in pass protection, really stepped up his game in Mike Leach's pass-happy scheme. He only gave up 1 pressure in 683 pass blocking snaps last season.
Yeah, see, Charles Cross is the most balanced tackle in this draft. And pass pro is actually what we need at our right tackle. He can definitely play right tackle in this league. Him and Andrew Thomas, if they stay healthy, I think we can have a damn good tackle duo in New York with Charles Cross and Andrew Thomas, man. I love that pick for us at number 7. If we can't trade back with the 5 or the 7 pick, they got us taking Kayvon Thibodeau and Charles Cross. Let's get it. I'm with that all day, every day. I like Devin Lloyd if Thibodeau is gone. I like Iquanu and Evan Neal, but as you can see, more than likely they could be gone before the 5th or the 7th pick. So I enjoyed those 2 picks. Thank you for doing us right, Todd.
Then the Falcons at number 8. Listen, quarterback is still in play. We'll talk about the potential there for the Falcons. But if they go in a different direction, I think wide receiver makes a lot of sense. You've got Drake London, 6'5", with length. He's the best in college football this past year in contested catches. Silky hips for a big guy. How many 6'5" receivers can actually break some ankles in space? And that's what he does. I love his game. I think he's the first receiver.
All right. This is the second pick I disagree on, man. Drake London has a major injury history in the Falcons.
What is wrong with him?
I'm going to just be real, man. They need to go a different direction, man. They get offensive weapons every single year, and Matt Ryan is on a major decline. I will actually take this guy that's appearing up right now, Devin Lloyd. I will actually take Devin Lloyd right there. Let's go defensive. We're going to get some picks for Calvin Ridley. Drake London does not come in and be a number 1 receiver that's going to tear up the charts in my mind. Now, he may prove me wrong. He might have a good combine. He might run a 4.4 or in a 4.5 range, being 6'5". That's cool. But he's no Julio Jones. He's not Julio Jones. Matt Ryan is getting older. I try to see if I could get anything from Matt Ryan. If not, I just let him play it out as a stopgap and get me a quarterback next year. Or try to get a quarterback in the 2nd round or something in this draft if you feel one of those quarterbacks can come in and learn from Matt Ryan and turn into a good quarterback. I don't agree with that Drake London pick, especially not in the top 10. I just don't see it.
Off the board. Then at number 9, Denver Broncos. I went with Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. And listen, I consider the quarterback position again. We'll see what happens with some of the veterans and the trades. But Lloyd becomes the quarterback of the defense. That's the kind of guy he is. His preparation is unparalleled for linebackers in this class. His range versus the run is exceptional. He's also outstanding in the passing game. He had 8 sacks and 4 interceptions. So he's going to make plays on passing.
Yeah, the Devin Lloyd for the Broncos right there, man. I love that pick for them. If he does fall that far, hell, I would have loved to take him at 7, even though we got Kayvon Thibodeau. Devin Lloyd is an absolute monster. The more film I look on this guy, he is clearly the best linebacker coming out in this draft, and I'm gonna say it's almost not even close. The more film I watch on a guy, Nakobe Dean is good, Christian Harris is good, but man, that Devin Lloyd guy, he is a top 10 pick for sure. And they're going to get a good one with that Broncos picking Devin Lloyd. I agree with that one.
Downs, which is exactly what you're looking for in linebackers in the NFL today. Then the New York Jets back on the board again, number 10, Derek Stingley. If you go back to 2019 and study his tape, he might have the highest grade of any player in this draft. That's how good he was. He's a shutdown cover corner, 6 interceptions as a freshman that year. But the last 2 years, things fell apart at LSU. He had some injuries, only played in 10 games. So there's a lot of debates in war rooms throughout the NFL right now. Where does Stingley belong? But I think if he turns it back on, he could be the best cornerback in this draft when it's all said and done.
So inside the
I do actually believe that he is the best cornerback in this draft when healthy. See, his health is a major concern to me, man. He's been hurt for the past 2 years. And let's just be real, LSU unraveled, man. But the Jets getting Akeem Ekwonu and Derek Stingley Jr., they get a tackle that they need and they get a DB that they need. And both those guys could turn out to be the best at their position in this draft. And that will be a home run for those guys. I actually agree with that pick as well. I think Derek Stingley has the potential to be a shutdown corner. And I mean shut down. But his health is a very concern. It's not his skill level. It's not the way he plays. The guy knows how to play cornerback, man. Look at the film on this guy. He's amazing. So those 2 picks for those guys, very, very good. Like those 2 picks.
top 10, we have a couple of cornerbacks, but no quarterbacks. Very atypical for a mock draft. But it's still early, and of course, that will be a major change from just last year, right? I mean, we had 5
and they actually don't have any quarterbacks selected in the top 10. That'll be the first time in a long time. We haven't had a draft since
2013 where there were no quarterbacks in the
first
top
time
10.
Since 2013.
So now let's get smarter and bring in Adam Schefter. Shefty, it's early, but what's the likelihood we don't have a quarterback taken in the top 10 by draft night?
Well, Field, breaking news. There will not be a quarterback that goes number 1 overall. There will not be 5 quarterbacks that go in the top 15. And as much as we always value quarterbacks and push them up the draft board, this looks like a draft where that may not happen. Now, again, it's easy to say this in mid-February. We haven't gotten to free agency yet, and we haven't seen if Aaron Rodgers goes back to Green Bay and Russell Wilson stays in Seattle and what Houston does with Deshaun Watson. There are some quarterback questions with some veterans out there, but there doesn't seem to be a group of quarterbacks that's going to go high in the draft. We got Carolina at 6, Denver at 9, Washington 11, Indianapolis at 16, Pittsburgh at 20. There are a group of teams out there that unquestionably need a quarterback. The question is, which is the first one to take a plunge in a draft that's rich in other areas, not so much a quarterback, and take a quarterback that doesn't have the same type of rating from Mel and Todd that one of these other players do. Yeah, that's going to be...
Okay, after hearing Adam Schefter, I'm going to tell you, this is going to be a story time, man. Shout out to Classified 3F with Joe. So this is going to be a little bit of a story time. We actually had a little bit of a spat about these quarterbacks coming out, and I had the same sentiment. None of these quarterbacks are worth a top 10 pick. None of them are. But as you heard, Joe was saying some of the same things Adam Schefter was saying, but he also came to the realization that these quarterbacks are pushed up every year. Every year, 1 or 2 quarterbacks are going to be pushed up draft boards just because of a pro day, or they run a good 40 time at the combine, or they see them at their pro day throw a scripted passes to receivers, and oh man, look at the zip on the ball, and look at that. And I was telling Classified 3 of Joe, man, you crazy. These quarterbacks are nowhere near ready. And I still think that right now, to be honest with you, but he was right also. There are quarterbacks that are pushed up every year, a la Johnny Manziel, Mitch Trubisky, Tim Couch, Ryan Leaf. A lot of these quarterbacks that are pushed up because the quarterback's the primary position for your team. He's the leader of your team. in most cases, except for like a Ray Lewis or somebody like that. If he has somebody that's just that Hall of Fame caliber on the defensive side of the ball, or Michael Irvin with the Cowboys. But most instances, the quarterback is the main leader of the team. And so you have to have that guy. And if you're desperate for a quarterback, you're going to take a quarterback. So I can actually see a draft where two quarterbacks go in the top 10, and Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis. I think those are the two quarterbacks that are going to be pushed. Maybe they give a push to Matt Corral, but he's hurt. So I don't even know if he'll be able to participate in the pro day or the combine. So the next person up is going to be Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett. And look for Carson Strong to be pushed up as well if he has a great pro day and a great combine. But that's a little bit of story time about these quarterbacks. I am totally agree. I don't think any of these quarterbacks are actually worth in the top 15, to be honest with you. But you're going to see one or two of them go for sure.
As usual, the story of the draft, the quarterbacks, and it looks like in this draft, they will go a little bit later than we're accustomed to seeing them go.
Yeah, all the talk last year at this time was which quarterback.
We'll see. We'll see.
Sorry, Todd, go ahead.
I was just going to jump in. So, sorry about that, Field. I'm already cutting you off today. But listen, 2014, this class reminds me a little bit of that group. Remember Blake Bortles, Johnny Manziel, Teddy Bridgewater.
You see? It does remind me of that class. Blake Bortles was pushed up, I think, to the number 3 or the number 4 pick that year. And, man, he was absolute trash. Teddy Bridgewater had a good first year, but now he's hurt every freaking year. And Johnny Manziel, that's enough said.
Then Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo go in the second round. We've seen grades get pushed up. Blake Bortles in a lot of teams' boards was not a top 10 pick. He goes number 3 that year. So I think Carolina is really intriguing at 6. Can they get a deal to move back a little bit, or do they just fall in love with one of these guys and take a quarterback? And then also you mentioned Denver as well. What are they going to do? The most NFL-ready quarterback in this class is Kenny Pickett with the 50 starts. But the biggest upside of the quarterbacks is Malik Willis, and maybe a place like Atlanta at number 8, where you have Matt Ryan for a year and could sit Willis and develop him and become the future of your quarterback position. That could be a good fit as well.
All right. So Mel, Todd mentioned a couple of teams that could potentially need a quarterback. Is there one in that range, maybe 6 through 10, that really you have your eye on as a potential quarterback buyer?
The two teams that I had, well, I actually have 3. The Houston Texans, the Carolina Panthers, the Denver Broncos, and maybe the Falcons. So I'll say 4.
First of all, Field, Todd broke a draft rule that I established last year. Don't say NFL ready for quarterbacks. It makes no sense. It never works out. So you almost, you destroy a kid if you say he's NFL
Jones
ready. He's got
that.
no shot. So Kenny, yeah. Mac Jones about NFL ready? Was that what you were saying? Okay, we'll see about that. I remember Josh Rosen was NFL ready, but you kill the guys you say are
right.
NFL ready. So I think in terms of Carolina and Atlanta would be the two things. Atlanta passed on a quarterback. Todd's got both those teams going back-to-back years, same position. Say receiving entity Atlanta and Pitts. Now you get into Drake London. Do you take the quarterback in between the combine, then the pro day? It's a long way till the draft. And for those quarterbacks, Pickett, Willis, Liberty, and certainly Matt Corral is one of those 3 by then established as QB1, that one of those 2 teams feels like, hey, we may not get Deshaun Watson, we may get another veteran, may not come our way. We got to take that quarterback that we know is QB1 and he's available, and we don't have to worry about trading up to get him. So those would be 2 teams, Carolina and Atlanta, that could go quarterback.
Well, it's always an important pre-draft process for quarterbacks between pro days and obviously the combine. It feels like perhaps more than ever this season. Hey, still ahead, we will have a quarterback eventually off the board. And Todd explains why Kenny Pickett is the choice at number 11. Plus, Schefter lays out all the options for Washington in free agency and the draft. And we've got a trade. That's right, the Steelers are moving up to get their guy. Find out who it is and what Todd might be their motivation for their GM to make this move. At the top, as you see the entire board, Todd, where does the first quarterback come off the board?
All right, so we're getting a little bit late in this video, so I'm going to go through the rest of their picks. As you can see right here on the board, the first quarterback that comes off the board was the Washington Commanders with Kenny Pickett. Yeah, they need a quarterback, man. I'm not gonna disagree with that pick there. That was a pretty good pick for them. The cornerback at number 12 from Minnesota, Trent McDuffie. I do not agree with that. That pick is absolutely terrible to me. They could go defensive tackle or they go Nakobe Dean. They ain't no middle linebacker out there as well. The Browns, Garrett Wilson. I think that's a very good pick for them. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think Garrett Wilson is the best receiver in this class, and I think he helps out the Browns offense. Now, they just got to decide what the hell is Baker Mayfield about. Man, I think this is his last year, and he might be a backup for the rest of his career. Just going to be honest with you. At number 14, they take center Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens. Like that pick right there. Very smart center, best center in this draft, and he's just an absolute mauler up there. And he helps out that Ravens offense tremendously. I would like to see them go receiver, but hey, Tyler Linderbaum, damn good pick, damn good center. He's going to be blocking for Lamar Jackson for a long time. All right, the Eagles with back-to-back picks take Nakobe Dean and Trayvon Walker. Totally agree with the Nakobe Dean pick, but if you got George Karlaftis and Jeremiah Johnson on the board from Florida State, I take them over Trayvon Walker any day. Any day.
What are you doing?
Number 17, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking Malik Willis. I like that pick for Malik Willis. I think that's the absolute best spot for him. I think he can shine out there with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he makes strides out there with Mike Tomlin and them. They'll come up with a plan for him, and they have plenty of weapons out there for him. Matt Corral to the Saints at number 18. Another perfect fit for me. I think Matt Corral is a Saint. I think they can get some things done with him, but the departure of Sean Payton worries me. So I got to think about that a little bit, but I do like that pick. Number 19, the Eagles take Treylon Burks. I actually like that pick too. He's a dominant receiver, and their receivers are not dependable. I think Treylon Burks is way better than Drake London, who went number 8 overall. I just don't understand that. But I would have took another edge rusher right here, to be honest with you. But hey, Treylon Burks is not bad. Jordan Davis falls all the way down to 20 to the Chargers, and I think that's a damn good pick for the Chargers. They need run stoppers. They need pressure up the middle to help out Bosa out there. I think that's a damn good pick for them. The Patriots take cornerback Kyler Gordon. Do not like that pick right there. If they do go cornerback, if Jason Jackson leaves, I would take Kyer Elam. If not, I would actually take Chris Olave right here for the Patriots as a receiver. And speaking of Chris Olave, he goes 22 to the Raiders. I actually like that pick there as well. I think Derek Carr, you give him Chris Olave, another weapon to go out there with Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. They can make some noise out there for real. Josh Jacobs at running back, yeah, they can make a lot of noise out there. My man Jermaine Johnson, the second, going to the Cardinals at 23. Love that pick there. You bring J.J. Watt back. Jermaine Johnson, man, he's just a beast, man. I think he can play in any system, and I think that would be great for them. David Ojabo going to them boys at 24. Great pick if you have to lose out on one of your edge rushers this year, especially if you have to lose DeMarcus Lawrence due to cap reasons. Or I always forget the other guy's name, but he's Randy Gregory. If you lose Gregory, or if you lose Lawrence out there, I think, yeah, David Ojabo is a good pick right there. Andrew Booth Jr. going to the Bills. Love that pick right there, going on the other side of Tre'Davious White. They're probably going to be able to give him a year to develop. That Bills defense just gets a lot stronger. George Karlaftis all the way down to number 26. Man, that's crazy. To the Tennessee Titans, it just makes that defensive line even more dangerous. Even more dangerous. All right, you got Jameson Williams going to the Buccaneers at 27. I like that pick. You're going to be losing Chris Godwin. Antonio Brown is gone, so get you another weapon. And it looks like it's going to be Mr. Kyle Trask out there starting for the Buccaneers, so they might take a little bit of a fall, man. They might not be what they used to be. You got Devontae Wyatt at defensive tackle for the Packers. I would like to see them get another receiver to go with Adams and Aaron Rodgers over there. I would like to see them get Jahan Dotson right there if they could. Offensive tackle Trevor Penning going to the Dolphins at 29. I have my issues with Trevor Penning. I don't think that guy is as dominant as people think that he is. He has a nasty mean streak, but I think he's better fit at guard. But they do need tackles over there at Miami because they've drafted some tackles that haven't been very good. So let's see what they do. Jahan Dotson to the Chiefs at number 30. Man, Jahan Dotson, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce. Man, the Chiefs just get better and better. The Bengals select Bernard Rahman, offensive tackle, at 31. I don't like that guy at all. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think he needs a lot of work, man. He needs a lot of work, and I don't even think he starts. To be honest with you, I don't even think he starts on that Bengals line right now. I just don't. This offensive tackle class is top heavy, but after that, man, you're going to have to find you some gems. And those guys that they're boosting up, man, I just don't see it. And finally, at the end of the first round, you got quarterback Sam Howell to the Detroit Lions. I actually like that pick. And I think he beats out that bum that's over there right now. I can't think of his name right now because he's not even worth mentioning. I think Sam Howell wins that job out there. So I'm actually not too mad at this draft right here. There's a couple of picks that I'm like, I don't know, Todd. I don't know what you're thinking right there, but for the most part, man, they're doing some. He did a good job with this mock draft, and man, shout out to my New York Giants, man. He did us right, man. Kayvon Thibodeau and Charles Cross. You get you a dominant edge rusher and a dominant tackle. Hey, I'm with that, man. So I'm not mad at that at all. But man, this is Todd McShay's mock draft 2.0. This is Mock the Mock, the first episode. And I have to say, man, I have to do more of these. I actually enjoyed doing this one, man. But as you can see, this is his first round mock draft. Whoever your team is, you let me know exactly in the chat how you feel about Todd McShay, how you did your team. Did he do you right? Did he do you good? You let me know. But thank you guys, man. Get me over 1,000 subscribers. We're almost at 1,200. I do appreciate all you guys' support. And man, this is mock draft season. This is draft season. The combine getting ready to come up. Shout out to my guys, Classified 3F with Joe, G Nation Inside Sports. We will be bringing you the combine. We will be bringing you the heat. And we will tell you who's going to be falling up and down these draft boards after the combine. Because you know it happens every year. You know it happens every year. And it happens a little bit with the pro days. So, Giants get Kayvon Thibodeau and Charles Cross. I think they will have a major hit right there. The Lions get Aiden Hutchinson and Sam Howell. I think that's a hit right there. The Jets getting Iquanu and Derek Stingley Jr. I think that's a hit. I think the Broncos nailed it with Devin Lloyd for sure. I think the Browns nailed it with Garrett Wilson. And the Eagles with Traylon Burks, Nakobe Dean, and Trayvon Walker. Hey, look, that's a good draft as well. And a sneaky pick, Ojabo to the Cowboys. I really like that pick too. I know they're Cowboys, but I really like that pick too, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I think the Titans get a major steal in George Karlaftis at 26, and Andrew Booth Jr. going to the Bills at 25. Those are two major steals in this draft for me. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It looks like you had 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks go in the first round, which I can actually see as well. And Chris Olave to the Raiders, I really like that pick too. I really like that pick as well. But thank you for tuning in. If you stayed through the whole process, the Mock, Todd McShay's mock draft 2.0, I do appreciate you guys. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Merchandise link is in the chat. Get your Big Pat Sports Talk merch at the Big Pat Sports Shop. And we have memberships, man. So come and talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk. Get you a membership. They go on starting off at $3.99. Get your perks. Stand out in the chat. And when we get further memberships, I will be doing private chats and private streams with members. So, man, it's just an exciting time for Big Pat Sports Talk, man. We're doing so much. We're going to keep bringing you the heat. We're going to be bringing you the USFL. Shout out to Cavante Turpin of our New Jersey Generals. He's going to be the receiver out there. Can't wait to call his games. It's going to be a fun time, man. And the Big Blue Crew is bringing you very big things, man. So go subscribe to my guys, and I have their links in the chat. Classified 3F with Joe, G Nation Inside Sports. And we lit, man. We lit. Hit that like and subscribe button. And until the next episode, peace. This has been a Big Blue Crew production.